A battle 7 races in the making comes to a close here today at the Watkins Glen International for the final race of the NASCAR Miscraft Cup Series Season number 1. Here we are in beautiful upstate New York trying to find our way to a champion here in the first season of the NASCAR Miscraft Cup Series. 4 drivers are looking for the trophy here today. They've fought their way up to the top 4 in points through the first 7 races of this season. Kevin Harvick is one of them. Same is Earnhardt Jr, Truex Jr, and Stenhouse Jr. A lot of juniors in the field here today for this Final 4 hunt, but Kevin Harvick, the lone non-junior in the 4, looking for the trophy as well. And these guys have come a long way, all 4 of them with a 1 win apiece. And, of course, Harvick got it done in Las Vegas. Jr. got it done in Atlanta. Stenhouse got it done in Daytona. And just 1 race ago in Pocono was the win for Truex Jr. And, of course, Kevin Harvick, he will be starting on the front row alongside his Tony Stewart in his final full-time race, the NASCAR Miscraft Cup Series. Harvick does not have very far to go to be able to get himself the champion. He's already in first. He's going to have to try to stay there for the rest of this race. Truex Jr., he is starting 3rd in this race. Been a really strong run for him. One of the most consistent of the 4 drivers this season. He starts 3rd here today. And how about Earnhardt Jr.? He starts 6th in the running here for the final race of the season. And a little ways behind him in 8th is Stenhouse Jr. Those 2 have been a little bit less consistent this season, but they have been very strong nonetheless. And of course, they will have a little more ground to make up than the other 2 to try to get the trophy here today in Watkins Glen. And 10 laps is the distance here today from the Watkins Glen International around this road course, which is a little bit interesting for a lot of people in the thoughts on a finale race. But here we are at the Watkins Glen nonetheless. And 4 drivers, 10 laps, and we'll find out who will be able to come out on top. And of course, we got to get your starting lineup for this race, and here it is. Of course, 13 rows of cars. And on the row number 1, it's Kevin Harvick and Tony Stewart, a pair of Stewart-Haas teammates. Harvick, of course, looking for the championship. Same for Truex Jr. He starts 3rd today alongside of Austin Dillon. Row number 3 includes Denny Hamlin and Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 3rd of the 4 championship contenders. And the 4th one is on the outside of Carl Edwards. It's Stenhouse Jr., the number 17 machine. Then it's the Kyle and Kyle show, running out your top 10, Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch. Then you have Chase Elliott and Jimmy Johnson. Those are a pair of Hendrick teammates. And in row number 7, you have Ryan Blaney and Brad Keselowski. 15th and 16th are Kurt Busch and Joey Logano. And 17th and 18th are Danica Patrick and Jamie McMurray. Running out of the top 20 behind them will be Clint Boyer and Matt Kenseth. And row number 11 will include Casey Kane and Ryan Newman. Row 12 is AJ Allmendinger and Michael McDowell. And rounding out your field, 25th and 26th here today, Reed Sorensen, the Indianapolis winner, and Matt DiBenedetto, your Darlington winner. And of course, head on down to Plain B Sales and Circle B Diecast and use the code NMCS Racing for free shipping on orders over $20 for any racing apparel, merchandise, and even diecast. So head on down to those websites and get yourself some free shipping on your orders over $20. And this race, like I said, is 10 laps around this long road course, and this is the final race of the season. And the top finisher of the final 4 drivers in points will be crowned the champion. Harvick is one of them, and the other 3 are Dale Martin and Stenhouse Jr. And here we go, around the final corner. Green flag is in the air. Kevin Harvick leads us down to turn number 1. And it's already a really good jump for him. Truex going to try to take over 2nd, and he will, from Tony Stewart. And Denny Hamlin now looking for 3rd on him. But at the bus stop for the first time today, Harvick out front, and it's Truex following him. And through the carousel, everyone single file for the moment here. Running the final 2 corners, Harvick already completing lap number 1 here in Watkins Glen. Truex follows through in 2nd. And Denny Hamlin now follows into 3rd as well. And up the S is Harvick trying to weave his way through and keep this lead into the bus stop. Whoa, Truex locks it up just a little bit there. That allows the 11 Denny Hamlin to get to his inside. He's into the carousel and takes over 2nd. And Kevin Harvick with a huge lead. Never mind, he blows the corner and Hamlin's going to cross him over for the lead. And he will lead lap number 2. And through turn number 1, oh, trouble! The 78 spins into turn number 1, and he'll right the ship, and nearly contact with Carl Edwards, and he'll try to weave his way back up through traffic up onto the back straightaway, and Denny Hamlin continues to lead here in Watkins Glen. Harvick tries to follow through, and onto the front straightaway. Lap 3 now complete. It's Denny Hamlin out front here, Stenhouse and Earnhardt Jr. They're battling outside the top 5, and they're going to have to try to make their way up to the front if they want the run at the championship. And Kevin Harvick back to the point into the bus stop. He steals it away from Denny Hamlin. And Tony Stewart sitting quietly in 3rd at the moment. Oh, we got a caution on the racetrack. A big crash on the back straightaway. Allmendinger's around. So is Danica Patrick. Reed Sorensen and Matt DiBenedetto. And Matt Kenseth sits right up against the outside wall on 2 wheels, right on top of the 94 Reed Sorensen, and the red flag is out here at Watkins Glen. And they all sit there right at the exit of the S's, and what a tough crash for all of them. As a matter of fact, Harvick is your leader still, but let's see what happened here coming out of the S's. Oh man, Danica Patrick just gets turned by AJ Allmendinger. I don't know if Allmendinger was trying to get clear and right behind the 10 of Patrick, and it looks like he might have been trying to do that. And as soon as he made contact, he checked up, and Reed Sorensen plowed in, and so did Kenseth and DiBenedetto. And they were right at the tail end of this field in a huge crash for those 5 drivers just trying to make it to the end of this race, and they are already out. So is Allmendinger trying to fix the race car, but he will join the other 4 in the infield and out of this race. Now we'll have 4 laps to go here today. Restarting on lap number 7, Harvick still leads Hamlin to his outside. Green flag's back in the air, and they get both a really good jump down into turn number 1. Hamlin stays side by side with Kevin Harvick, and they spin behind him. Carl Edwards on the outside wall, so is Jimmy Johnson, Chase Elliott, and Joey Logano. And once again, time after time, Carl Edwards hard into the outside wall and crashing here in the NASCAR Miscraft Cup Series. And he is out of this race once again. And man, let's see what happened here. Edwards just got spun trying to get into turn number 1. Chase Elliott was on the inside, it looked like, trying to clear, get down to the inside right behind Martin Truex Jr. And once they made contact, Johnson got plowed into by Logano, and all 4 of them got sent into the outside wall. You see right here, the 19 got hooked by the 24, and that just sent all of them up to the wall, and a big crash for the 4 of them, and they are out of this race as well. And that will mean we will restart with 2 laps to go now here in Watkins Glen. Harvick continues to lead. Stenhouse has made his way up to 4th, that is, sorry. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Martin Truex Jr. a little bit further back, but they might be contenders, but we'll have to see who will be able to come out on top as a champion. 2 laps to go. Green flag's back in the air. Harvick continues to lead, and Stewart spins the tires. The 3 wide. Stenhouse through the middle. He tries to get to the outside quarter panel of Kevin Harvick, and they'll have to follow it into second now. He's going to have to try to chase down that forward Kevin Harvick into the bus stop. Stenhouse slides the tires, and he somehow keeps up his momentum, and now he's at the inside of Harvick. Side by side, they come through the final 2 corners into the white flag. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. leads. 1 lap to go here in Watkins Glen. Stenhouse leads. Harvick is second, and here they come up to the S's for the final time. A little bit of contact there, but Kevin Harvick, he'll stay behind the 17 into the bus stop for the final time. Here they come. Harvick right on his back bumper into the carousel now. As they come through, they make contact. Stenhouse goes around, so does Kevin Harvick. And coming through from 3rd is Tony Stewart, and that means Dale Earnhardt Jr. takes the championship lead, and Stewart's going to win the race. Hamlin second, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be your NASCAR Miscraft Cup Series champion. And let's see how it happened here. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was leading into the bus stop, and here came Kevin Harvick with a whale of a run into the carousel, bumps the back bumper, spins the 17, makes contact, and they both go into the outside wall. Stewart comes through, and Hamlin comes through unscathed, and so does the 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. at the line, the champion here in the Miscraft Cup Series. And there's a fight in the carousel. It's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Kevin Harvick, and Harvick's on the ground. And here's why it's clear why it's happened. And Stenhouse was the one who got turned right here by Harvick. Upset most definitely. And they both ended up on the outside wall with both of their championship hopes dashed. And they're going to have to settle that situation here. And on the front stretch, of course, though, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Stewart, they are going to settle out with a burnout for the championship and the race winner here at Watkins Glen. And it was 7 races in the making, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes out on top. The final 4, he made that, and now he makes it to the trophy. He made it to the throne. He takes the trophy away from everyone and is your champion here in Season 1, finishing from the 3rd position here at Watkins Glen. Tony Stewart, your victor. Hamlin second. Earnhardt third. Busch and Dillon riding at your top 5. And way down far on the list were Stenhouse and Kevin Harvick. Those 2 drivers fought it out till the very end, and it came up oh so close for the both of them to getting a championship trophy, but a little bit of contact in the end and a couple of ruffled feathers later, and they are both on the outside wall, and Tony Stewart wins, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. takes home the championship. And what an eventful 7 to 8 races it was this season, starting off in Martinsville, heading to Indianapolis, and then Daytona, down to Atlanta, and then up to Darlington, and then heading back to Pocono, and now to Watkins Glen. Of course, can't leave out Las Vegas, but here we are with a fantastic 8 races that we've ran this season, and it all came down to the final lap to decide who the champion was going to be, and it ended up being Dale Earnhardt Jr., who didn't lead a lap in today's race. He became the champion, and congratulations to him and every one of his fans. Same for Tony Stewart, who won the race here today in his final full-time start for the NASCAR Miscraft Cup Series. Congratulations to those two, and for everyone who had a solid race and solid season this year. And of course, that is it for the season number 1 for the Miscraft Cup Series. Come back soon for more racing to come for the Miscraft Cup Series, and until then, we'll see you next time.